In a world where everyone is chasing someone, have you ever paused and asked, who's truly walking beside me? Not behind me in adoration, not ahead of me in pride, but beside me. Purpose. We're not talking about someone who simply matches your vibe or echoes your playlist. Our text you good morning because it's trending. We're talking about a connection crafted beyond timelines, a bond not found but revealed. You don't find a soulmate with chasing or begging. You align with your soulmate by becoming who your soul is destined to be. We are not here to find a person. We are here to awaken a frequency in your heart that will pull the right soul into your old way. Your recent lost soul just hasn't been fully unlocked yet. So breathe, be here. Stillness attracts the right sound, but we live in a world where everyone is talking, scroaching, shrieking, cold. Always do something, anything to avoid the discomfort of silence. Have you noticed? The moment things get quiet, we reach for our phones, we fill our minds with noise, podcasts, posts, anything that drowns out the stillness. Because silence makes us feel valuable, exposed, alone. But here's the truth, no one tells you stillness is not emptiness. It's alignment. It's where your soul finds its frequency. Again, imagine a musical instrument, a sitar, untouched and resting in silence. Now imagine trying to tune it in a room full of noise, people shouting, horns honking, TV blaring in the background. You can twist the knobs all you want, but you won't hear if the string is in tune. It's only in the quiet, when the external world softens, that you can finally hear the subtle hum of alignment. The same is true for your soul. You cannot hear the call of your soulmate when your life is full of inner and outer noise, at parties, on apps, in endless talking stages. But real connection, the kind that awakens something ancient in your soul, doesn't scream to be seen. It arrives like a gentle breeze through an open window. If your room is full of loud fans, alarms, and distractions, that breeze will never be felt. In daily life, we often mistake movement for progress. We keep meeting people, going on dates, asking the other person. But the truth is, it's not about doing more. It's about being more aware. More options. You need stillness that allows you to finally hear the direction your heart has been whispering all along. Let me tell you a story. Yeah. There was a woman who had been chasing love for years. She went from relationship to relationship, but each time she found herself confused, exhausted, and heartbroken. One day she finally stopped. She took a break from dating, from searching, from wanting. She began to sit in stillness. Every morning before the world woke up, no distraction, just silence. And at first it terrified her. Thoughts came like a flood. Regrets, memories, questions, insecurities. Because she stayed with it, she didn't run. She sat still. And slowly the storm passed. One day in that silence, she felt peace. Not because something had changed outside, but because something had shifted inside. She wasn't anywhere. She wasn't realized she had never been alone, only unaware. And not long after that, she met someone, not at a party. A gentle conversation, a soft presence, a still energy. And it felt like home because this time she wasn't looking to become Newgate. She was already whole. She had cleared the noise. And now the right sound could finally enter. It doesn't mean inactivity. It means conscious presence. It means turning over and trusting that the divine doesn't operate on noise, operates on harmony. You cannot hear the frequency of your soulmate when you're tuned to the channel of fear, desperation, or distraction. Have you ever walked in a forest early in the morning? The dew is still resting on the leaves. The birds haven't fully awakened. There's a sacred silence in there. And in that moment, you can hear things you would never notice in the afternoon chaos. The rustling of a squirrel, the distant hum of a stream. Your soul needs the same kind of environment one meant for you. The true soulmate will not do fanfare. They will not force their way in. They will arrive like dawn. Quietly, consistently, divinely. If you're too busy chasing sunsets, you'll miss the miracle of the morning light. In this moment, ask yourself, what am I filling my life with? And I fail to see stillness because I fear what I'll feel. Or am I brave enough to be with myself, knowing that love begins there? Stillness is not where nothing happens. It's where everything aligns, where clarity is born. It's where you stop seeking and start seeing. The right sound will come when you're quiet enough to hear it. Not with the ears, but with your soul. So sit, breathe, listen. They are just waiting for the day your inner world becomes silent enough to hear them call your name. Not with words, but with the familiar book, the till my name go. Stillness attracts the right sound. And that sound is love. You must first prepare the vessel that will carry you. You wouldn't pour the purest water into a dusty glass, would you? You wouldn't place sacred offerings in a space cluttered with yesterday's waste. And yet, to so many begin the search with hearts clouded by confusion, bitterness, and unresolved wounds. The truth is simple. If you want to invite something divine into your life, you must first purify the space it will enter. Love is not just an inward experience. It's a spiritual transaction. It flows freely where there's space, clarity, and sincerity. But many are carrying the weight of past relationships, old heartbreaks, lingering guilt, comparisons, and then they wonder why the right person hasn't arrived. It's not that the blessing isn't there. It's just that the room is too full to receive it. Think of it like trying to find a star in the night sky while looking through a fogged up window. The light is shining, but you need to clean the glass to truly see what's meant for you. In your daily life, this principle reveals itself constantly. Have you ever tried working in a messy room? Your mind feels restless, distracted, not because the work is hard, but because the space lacks clarity. The same applies to your routine. When your thoughts are cluttered, when your emotions are tangled knots from the past, the path ahead looks blurry. You keep moving, you keep meeting people, but you can't recognize who's genuine. Purification is not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about making peace with your past so that your present can open to something new. Let's take an example. Lived relationships. Every time he met someone new, he would carry the memory of the last person, comparing traits, overanalyzing words, doubting intentions. Even when he tried to love, there was hesitation in his heart. He didn't realize it. Emotion depressed. And so, no matter how good the new person seemed, the relationship would collapse under the weight of his past. One day, an elder told him, before you welcome someone new, old stories that changed everything for him. He took time away from dating. He sat with his memories, not to dwell in them, but to cleanse them. He forgave not just others, but himself. He journaled. He prayed. Slowly, the heaviness began to lift. And in that space of emotional stillness, clarity bloomed. He wasn't chasing anymore. He wasn't reacting from fear. He was ready. And when he met the right soul, he walked in whole, not broken. And so the love that bloomed was pure, not polluted by the past. That's what purification does. It doesn't erase your past. It transforms it, dragging the weight what once was. In spiritual traditions, before any major ceremony or ritual, there's always a cleansing, a washing of the hands, the feet, the space, and most importantly, the intention. Why? Where there is chaos. The same applies to relationships. Your soulmate is not just looking for your beauty, your talent, or your achievements. They are looking for the space within you that's free of residue or resentment, even in walls of fear. In nature, we see this truth. A seed does not grow in soil filled with thorns and toxins. The ground must be cleared, nourished, made ready. Only then can the seed of a new life take root and bloom. Purified my inner soil, or am I trying to grow love in ground that's still recovering from storms? You cannot skip this step. The universe will not send you a soulmate to fix what you haven't faced. The divine doesn't give you a person to fill your void in fullness, but only when you've done the inner work to be whole. So pause, reflect, cleanse, remove the bitterness, release the guilt, detach from the need to rush. Not looking for someone to complete you, but someone to complement your journey. Love will find its way. Not because you search harder, but because you prepare deeper. When your heart becomes a sanctuary, they'll feel the vibration and walk right in. So purify before you search, because the most beautiful souls don't respond to desperation. They're drawn to devotion. Letting go is one of the hardest things we are ever asked to do. Tied our hearts to someone who looked like a dream, spoke like a promise, and felt like forever, even if they weren't meant to stay. Illusions are seductive. They don't come dressed in darkness. They come wrapped in familiarity, attention, sweet moments. Hold on. Not because the bond is real, but because it feels real. But not everything that feels good is right. And not everyone who enters your life is meant to remain. Sometimes the person you're asking God to bring back, they were the mirror, not the match. A reflection of what you need to grow beyond, not the person you need to grow with. Illusions blur our vision. We start seeing what we want to see, not what is truly there. We excuse the mixed signals. We tell ourselves, maybe if I wait a little longer, maybe if I change myself a little more, maybe, just maybe. And in this loop of waiting, hoping, fantasizing, we slowly lose our clarity, our confidence. Ever stared at something for so long that your eyes began to play tricks on you? That's what illusions do. The longer you hold on to what's not real, the more it feels like reality. And the tragedy is, while you're clinging to an illusion, to be discovered, your soulmate can't step in when your heart is still locked in yesterday's shadow. A woman once said, I thought he was the one because he knew how to say all the right things. He made me laugh. He told me he couldn't live without me. I was felt anxious, like I would never enough. I kept holding on enough. I kept ignoring moments when he was kind, and I kept ignoring all the times he left me feeling empty. Her story is not uncommon. Illusions keep us addicted to potential, not presence. While our hearts are starving in reality. And then when it ends, we grieve not just the person, but the story we told ourselves about them. But the soul is wise, it knows. Deep down, we all know that whisper inside your chest that says, this is a lesson. That whisper is the voice of your soul. The longer you ignore it, the louder your suffering becomes. Letting go of illusions is not about becoming cold. It's about becoming clear. It's about standing in truth. Because only when your heart breaks open can something divine finally enter. Think about the clouds that cover the sun. They don't change the fact that the sun is shining. They just block your view. Illusions are like those clouds. When in fact your light has never stopped shining. You just need to clear the sky. In daily life, you see this when someone keeps revisiting a relationship that brings them more confusion than clarity. Reading old texts, replaying memories, wondering what they did wrong, all while ignoring the fact that they were not truly seen, valued, or loved. The pain is real. But so is the truth. Never require you to betray yourself to keep it. Letting go of an illusion doesn't mean that the memories disappear. It means you stop living in them. You honor them, you learn from them, and then you release them. Cage, you open the door. Not for them, for yourself. There's a sacred power in saying this looked like love. But love doesn't confuse. Love doesn't abandon. And when you speak that truth from your soul, not your ego, the illusion dissolves. It can no longer hold you. Letting go clears the fog. And in that clarity, you begin to see the people who genuinely care. The path that truly belongs to you. And most beautifully, in that clarity, your soulmate begins to move toward you, no longer blocked by the shadows of who you thought was the one. Let go. Not because they were evil, but because your soul deserves the real thing. Let go. Not to forget what was, but to make space for what will be. Let go. Because illusions might feel warm in the night, but they will always leave you cold by morning. Never made to survive off temporary light. You were made for the sun. You were made for truth. You were made for love that is as real as your breath and as constant as your faith. Let go of the illusion and let the truth of your soulmate find you.